Hi there, this is Molly and welcome back. Now we're at part 2 of our look at the USA's astrological chart, and we're going to look at it as the upcoming American Revolution. And it's quite significant astrology, and the story will really kick off in February 2020, February 23rd, 2020. And that's because we're going to see Saturn in Capricorn at 27 degrees, conjunct the natal Pluto at 27 degrees of Capricorn. Now, this is an interesting energy because this happens right after the exact conjunction with transiting Pluto and transiting Saturn at 23 degrees of Capricorn. A month later, transiting Saturn is conjunct natal Pluto. And this is happening in the second house of this version of the US's chart. I explained in part 1 why I chose and use this astrological chart. Other astrologers will use a different one, but this is the one that I find to be reliable and informative. So with Saturn conjunct Pluto, the energies of that January 2020 conjunction hits home. And this is the second house, which is finances, and what the U.S. owns, what it possesses, the internal finances of the country, certainly the economy, also any institutions with this Capricorn energy, such as the Federal Reserve, such as the mints that print money, or the institutions that monitor and organize and manage different monies and financial systems. This energy is all coming in strong as the U.S. experiences a number of big energies in the next decade. Now, please note that this cycle happens every 29 to 30 years. And so it's not that rare to have Saturn conjunct Pluto. But what makes it very, very rare is that this transiting Pluto is returning to the place of its in the natal chart, which hasn't happened since 1776. And that's a very big cycle of renovation, transformation, permanent endings, permanent things shifting, falling away, destruction, so that the new can emerge. And in the U.S., this is in the second house of money, economy, finances, and again, the organizing bodies of those finances, since that's the Capricorn energies. So we're looking at some big restructuring here, and it's happening within the U.S., but of course this is a global economy and everything is connected. Now this is happening in the second house, and it's opposing the natal Mercury at 24 degrees of Cancer, which is what's communicated, what's shared, what is also kept hidden. The 8th house can be quite secretive and wants to maintain some privacy. This is 8th house is also a financial house. So the deep energies shifting and changing here in the second house are opposing how it shows up on Main Street. So this is Main Street, USA, and this is Wall Street and big business and corporations, and how the two are certainly connected. We've been seeing these big changes in the retail sector for a number of years, but there's bigger hits coming. That's really what the astrology shows. And it's not just because of Saturn conjunct Pluto. It's because this transiting Pluto returning here to permanently change what was created, essentially the foundations that were laid or what has been developed over the past number of years. It's all being revisited. And this exact Pluto return happens in February 2022. So it's actually going to be 2 years after Saturn comes through with its reality check, its authority figures, its assessment, assessing and examining, and then the changes are going to come in even bigger 2 years later, February 22 until October 2023. So those are truly the years of the next American Revolution. February is when it begins in 2022 and it continues into 2023, but we start to see the themes emerging in 2020. Now, this is certainly a big astrological event to have a Pluto return. It's not something you would ever have in your lifetime because it takes over 200 years for Pluto to make this return, but it signifies a very deep change is underway in the US, and that begins with things needing to be complete and fall away, the death, in order for the rebirth. And that can be very choppy. So this is a significant energy that we're going to be seeing play out over the next number of years. Now, the other astrological energy that's really fascinating at this time is that not only do we have this very strong Pluto transit of permanent transformation, but we also have a very big event with Neptune. Now, in the US, we have the natal Neptune at 22 degrees of Virgo, Virgo being working, the skills you need in the workforce, health, doctors, nurses, Virgo ruling how we care for ourselves on a daily basis. And this energy is going to have an opposition from transiting Neptune, which will be at 22 degrees of Pisces, February 2022, the exact same time as the Pluto return. Please understand, these are very rare cycles and they're occurring simultaneously. You have a Pluto return at the same time as a Neptune opposition. That is incredibly rare. And the Neptune opposition brings in mass confusion. Unfortunately, it shows us that what's outside of ourselves is changing. It's also a big letting go. It's a sign of you don't know what's what. And this can show up as a very big spiritual lesson where you go into the parts of yourself that are trusting what you can't see. A big surrender to the bigger changes underway and not knowing what's going to play out or what's going to show up. With a Neptune opposition, things do dissolve, they melt. There is the sense of something is gone. And that's why the mass confusion can happen with the opposition. And this can also show up through health. Neptune in Pisces is bacteria, viruses, germs, illness, sickness, things that we don't see. And then as it opposes Virgo, it's how do we care for it? What do I do to stay in good health and care for my body? So this is an energy of how do you deal with change when there's no clear plan or there's no clear direction, and how do you stay mentally strong and not go into the despair or the sense of uncertainty for too long. So these are very big energies. And again, that Neptune opposition is happening at the same time as the Pluto return. Now, other strong energies happening over the next number of years will involve the US's Chiron return. That's going to begin April 2024. When Chiron returns to 20 degrees of Aries. This is a 50-year cycle, so every 50 years there's a Chiron return, and it will last until March 2025, so a good year. And that being the self-identity. What is the new self-identity of America? And what is new, what is fresh, what is needed after very big changes and perhaps confusion, and what parts of America are now being reintroduced and what is emerging that is fresh. So another big energy, because wait, there's more, is not just the Pluto return, Neptune opposition, and Chiron return, but we're also going to have a Uranus return in July 2027 to May 2028. The Uranus return happens every 84 years. And in Gemini, it's quite innovative and ready for new technologies, new developments. What is ready to be really spiced up? I mean, this is a very fast-moving, vibrant energy. A lot happening, a lot going on, a lot of breakthroughs, and a sense of newness that I feel like this is quite positive, by the way. This is a return that sparks up new inventions. And of course, it's really hard to even fathom what our reality will be like in 2027 and 2028. But this is also a revitalizing energy that brings in new solutions, new ways ahead, new things that will work, and ideas to follow. So this is a lovely return here when this Uranus comes back to its same place in the natal chart. So that will be, of course, welcomed, I believe. And who knows where some of our technologies will be in terms of drones, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, computers. What will we even be using on a daily basis at that time? This certainly signifies brand new technologies that come together quickly and that work with many people in their daily lives. So this is just a quick look at some of the big astrology that is unfolding in the upcoming American Revolution. Please note that the Pluto energy is the most important, followed by the Neptune opposition energy. These are the two slowest moving planets. And when they make these types of significant transits and aspects in a chart, things change permanently. And there is a sense of how you navigate through all of it, because these are long transits. It's a good 2 years. It's a good 2 years of the deep, intense change, but we get glimpses of it, perhaps even some foreshadowing a few years in advance. So we'll keep talking about all this because it is a gift of astrology to look at these energies, these themes, these cycles, and to prepare, to be aware, to look at your choices, to look at what you need in your life, to look at how you handle change and how to navigate it, and just to have the bigger picture of how the United States of America is changing permanently. This is the structures of government. It can be the end of the two-party system, the electoral college. This could be no insurance or no health care or something really ending permanently. Yeah, these are big themes. I know these are significant. So that's why it's great to have a heads up and to know that it's going to be a big time for all of us. And yet we can get through this. And in fact, we're here for it at a soul level. We're here for this renovation and transformation of the country. And even if you're not an American, everything's connected these days through the global economy and through how international our lives are these days, where food comes from, where the goods we buy are imported or exported. This is a worldwide change. And of course, I'm just looking at the U.S. chart here, but other countries are also undergoing deep changes as well, which you can certainly see when you watch the news or scroll through the latest headlines on your phone. So we're here for it, and this energy, we're gonna get some insights in it in the early months of 2020, and then we're going to see it play out here until 2025. So I'll be back soon with another video, and I hope this gave you some good things to think about. And thank you so much for your comments, likes, and subscribes. I appreciate it, and I'll be back soon with another astrology video for you.